Welcome back to Commercial Breaks with Miss Education. I'm Miss Education. All right, let's do this. Episode 55, repeat. Okay. So I've entitled this "Remember the Fourth C." The fourth C is short for fourth commandment. I just didn't want to write it all out. I'm just going to quickly read to you the fourth commandment, and then we can get into it. It says, it's found in Exodus 20, verse 8 to 12. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shall thy labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. In it you shall do no work, you, nor your son, nor your daughters, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger who is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, and the sea and all that is in them, and rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. What is that? There are 10 commandments, and that is the only commandment where God says, remember. And so I was like, okay, remember. Like if I ever say something to someone, I'd be like, yo, remember this. The reason I'm telling you to remember is twofold. One, it's important, and I'm going to need you to remember. And two, you're more likely to forget, right? If the other commandments are like, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not, right? And we tend to remember those. We do. And if we violate them, we're aware of the violation. However, the fourth commandment, God had to say, remember this day to keep it holy. I'm giving you 6 days to do any and everything else you need to do within a boundary, right? Don't act a fool, but I'm giving you 6 days to live your life. And I'm asking you for what? I'm asking you for 24 hours to meditate, to love me. A few things are going through my head right now, so I'm going to try to keep them in order. When I was younger, this idea was tough, right? It was tough to do because as a kid, Friday nights to Saturday nights, that just anyone, not even a kid as an adult, that's just when everything happens. It's the beginning of the weekend. Friday night, there are clubs, there are parties, people want to go out. I didn't. If you're in high school, you play sports. Many sports are held Friday nights or Saturdays. I could not, right? Prom, any school function, I was not attending. There's just a lot that happens on Friday night and Saturday. Like that seventh day, there's a lot that happens. And now that I'm older, I'm like, this is by design. This is by design by the enemy, right? The enemy wants to distract us from the fourth commandment. And so to do that, he is intentional about what is placed on those 24 hours. The amount of activities, the amount of distractions within those 24 hours, those are intentional distractions. Again, as I've gotten older, I've realized that as a child and teenager, this was miserable, but I did it, right? I did it. And it was in my early 20s that the thought came to me, like, Jen, if you had this boyfriend that you just adored, right? That you were like, he's amazing, he's blah, 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 like my husband, right? But if he asked you, he's like, yo, Jen, I need you to shut everything out. I need you to put your cell phone away. I need you don't watch TV. Just hang out with me. Like, let's go rent a cabin and you and I just get to hang out for 24 hours. No one else. Honey, I'd be like, sign me up. What? Yes. In a heartbeat, I'd spend the day with you. I was like, oh, you want me to get to that point with you. God, you want me to be like, yo, I will turn everything down for you. And so that's when this thought started percolating in my head. Like, what is the Sabbath? What is God's asking for a relationship? And not only that, like take creation, right? Biblical creation, 6 days. God made everything in 6 days. He was done. Why the seventh then? Why did God create the seventh? Again, these are just thoughts I've had, right? Why did God create the seventh? He doesn't need to rest. He's God. He's not tired. He's God. He created the seventh day for you and I. He's like, you mortal humans, you're gonna need a timeout. You're gonna need a day to recuperate, a day to get it back to center, a day to meditate on me. And so I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna let you do you for 6 days. But on the seventh day, take time for me. Rejuvenate. And now that I'm older, I appreciate the seventh day, the Sabbath. Why? Because I go to work, I'm tired. The matrix has me that I can't spend the amount of quality time I want with my children, my husband. But come Sabbath, everything's shut down. Let me give you this little, I don't know if I've shared it before, but I started doing with my children is Friday nights, we have worship, and then we watch a movie together. And not just any movie, it has to be 1960s and older, right? They're all Jesus-based movies. Because what I find is the more modern movies tend to be more exaggerated, more sexualized, have more false doctrines in them compared to the earlier movies. So initially when we started doing this, my kids were like, oh my gosh, what is this? 1960, 1920, like who, where, Charles Heston, what? And they were like, Mom, we can't do it. Look at the pixels, right? They weren't having it. But we kept doing it every Friday. Every Friday we would do this. To the point where, as of recently, I was tired one Friday night. I was like, I can't do this. I just want to go to bed. Let me get some NyQuil and I'm out. Right? My little one comes to me and says, so Mommy, we're all home. It's Sabbath. And he's like, why don't we just, watch one of your really boring old movies together? You think we should do that? Should we just watch one of your boring movies? And I'm laughing internally because I know what this kid is doing. He's trying to put it on me, but he really wants to watch. He likes our family time. So I said, you know what? Fine. Get everyone together. And at that point, I realized they've gotten to a point where there's enjoyment, and whether they enjoy the movie or not, but they do like family time. We eat snacks, we talk, we'll pause the movie whenever, because again, it's Hollywood. So there are things that are not accurate. We pause and we talk about things that are not accurate, or we talk about, you see the connection to what's going on today, how the Bible is seamless, the truth and the prophecy in it. So just little things like that. And I think deep down the kids like it. Whether they like it because it's family time, whether they like it because they're learning, I don't know. But there's a community. There's time spent with God. There's an appreciation for God. And I love that. I love that. So another thing with the fourth commandment, right? God's words do not return void. God asked us, he says, remember the Sabbath day. Keep it holy. Regardless what happens, keep it holy. This is similar to the episode I did about tithing to Caesar give to Caesar what is Caesar's. God's like, give me a tenth. Yeah, you got bills to pay. Yeah, you got food you need to buy. But give me first. Give me 10%. And watch that I will not open the floodgates of heaven. Trust me, right? Test me and see what happens. God is now asking us to keep the fourth commandment, keep my day holy. I promise I will hold you in my arms. Keep that day holy. And so I'm going to share a story that happened to me personally regarding the fourth commandment, right? I attended law school and I finished, right? When I tell people I attended, they're like, did you finish? Yeah, I finished it, okay? If you met my father, you have no option. And everyone knew from day one, I hated law school. I cried. Every professor knew Jen did not want to be here. She's forced to be here. And that was true. Upon graduation, I walked off the stage, gave my father the diploma, and told my dad he can go practice law. I remained in education. Anyway, so the last semester of law school, there's this course you have to take, and it was like a bar prep course, and it was held on Saturdays the entire semester, and you could not graduate unless you took this class. Like it was no exceptions. You don't pass this class. You don't take or pass this class. You don't graduate. And I'm like, God, you brought me through. You've literally carried me through the last 3 years, or 2.5, right? 2.5, and this is the last semester of this miserable journey that I'm on. You can't let me fail. You tell you've instructed that I keep your Sabbath day holy. However, you've placed the last class on this journey on Sabbath. What am I? Not even you. You didn't place it, but that's what it is. What am I supposed to do? You're not going to bring me something. You're not going to bring me through something and not carry me out, right? So what do I do? So I informed my professors that I was not able to take this class. I was like, it's on Sabbath. It goes against my religious beliefs. I will not be able to take this class. Is there something we can do? Do you offer the class some other time? And they said, no, it is only offered on Sabbath. At the time, I was dating this man. Okay, let me stop lying. I wasn't dating. I was married, okay? I was married to this man. And we had a small core group of acquaintances, friends, whatever, in law school. And my professors informed me that I could ask my partner at the time and my friends to record the classes for me, and that would suffice, right? I could do that, and then come to time to take the exam, which I wouldn't have to take on a Saturday. He would let me take it on another day. I could come in and take the exam. So that's what happened. My partner would go to class on Saturdays. My friends went to class on Saturdays, and I went to church. Come time to take the exam, we all took the exam. And of the small core group of us, and mind you, the class was big, but just the people that I hung out with, I was the only one that passed. I'm gonna say that again. I was the only one that passed that class. And even just thinking about it now, I'm just like, what a mighty God we serve. Yeah. And so everyone else had to retake that class except for me. And God was like, trust me, test me. Test me, Jen. God is faithful. God is not asking of us to do things just out of routine or just cause, or just to assert his domination. God wants what's best for us. God wants us to love him. God wants us to serve him, right? Out of love, not because we're forced. And when we do that, God has laid out promises, and he is faithful and just with those promises. He doesn't lie. My challenge to you is try him. Try to observe the seventh day. I promise you, initially it's going to be tough because it is literally shaking up your world, turning your Sunday, for those of you who even do church, to change your Sunday to Sabbath. Maybe I'll do an episode, but do the research to find out where Sunday even came from. Because remember the seventh day to keep it holy. It doesn't mention remember the first day to keep it holy. Remember the seventh day, and remember that the enemy, his goal is to distract us from the truth. Everything that God has placed, the enemy has tried to replicate with a twist, right? I'm challenging you for a month. Try observing the seventh day and see what God does. All right, God is dope. I feel better now. Till next time. Commercial breaks with Miseducation. Bye.